great product. Review number 2. With all of the various electrons that are buzzing around in our house these days, microwave oven, Wi-Fi, electronic weather station, digital portable phones, it becomes hard to find a portable phone that is not bothered by all this interference. This phone is the ticket to clear conversations. Some people say this phone is not to be used with cable phone service. Well, I am using it with my Comcast phone service, and it works great. If you are planning on adding additional handsets, that's okay. The base station will support multiple handsets. Just be aware that once you place a call on a specific handset, all other handsets are not able to pick up the line. If you want to join the conversation, you will need to pick up on a hardwired phone or a different type of portable phone. The EnGenius base station will only connect to one handset at a time. Other than this limitation, I am very pleased with this purchase and highly recommend this phone. Review number 3. This phone was purchased so the user could get some exercise walking around a nice big yard while on the phone. You know how much we are on the phone these days. Anyway, after 10 minutes or so on a call, an echo can occur and then sometimes static. You have to redial, and it's not a matter of distance from the base. This happened once at 20 feet. I called the company and they said the phone was not recommended for DSL or cable internet phone lines. I tried both types, and when it was working it worked great, but it gets static problems and you have to redial. I do not have a landline phone, but I have my doubts that it would make a difference. Other short-range phones do not have a problem with DSL or cable internet. Anyway, if you don't mind redialing, it works okay. Review number 4. This phone is absolutely amazing. We use it on 48-acre farm, and I can take it anywhere on the farm with me and make and receive phone calls. I was a little skeptical at first, but now I don't miss any calls when I have to step away from the house. Review number 5. This was expensive for a cordless landline phone, but it's worth its weight in gold. If I hadn't found this, I would have had the expense of putting a router for a cell booster in, which where the house is located would have been questionable to work. Very good product, and the description is correct. Review number 6. Really, EnGenius? Is this the best you can do? The radio is pretty good, which is why it got 2 stars instead of 1. I got a 500 to 600 foot range with it. As an analog radio, it also has the advantage of being fairly quiet from an electrosmog standpoint. Check YouTube for demonstrations of electrosmog detection for DECT phones. You'll be surprised at how horrible those devices are if you are inclined, like I am, to believe that pulsing electric fields aren't necessarily the best thing for you. On every other level, this phone is a total piece of junk. They managed to miss the mark in every aspect of design. It feels clumsy in the hand. The buttons are small and don't feel very responsive. Sound quality is poor. It seems fragile. Caller ID works only intermittently. Call waiting caller ID doesn't work at all. Oddly, all my other phones, which normally do get both regular caller ID and call waiting caller ID, don't receive call waiting caller ID when this genius phone is in use. It's like it somehow absorbs the caller ID signal in that instance. And I'm at a loss to explain why that should be, but it was very consistent. When this junk was plugged in, there was no call waiting caller ID on any of my phones. When it wasn't plugged in, call waiting caller ID worked fine. Inbound caller ID history and outbound call history are unintuitive to access. In fact, almost everything about the phone's features is unintuitive. For what it's worth, EnGenius tech support was apparently untrained and knew little about the phone. When I first plugged in the phone, it wasn't showing me caller ID at all. I called tech support to find out whether I had to do something to enable it. And yes, I do subscribe to caller ID and call waiting caller ID. The person I was talking to had to put me on hold twice to ask somebody else some questions. Then they couldn't get the manual for this version phone. Ridiculous. In the end, they said it should work. And in the end of the end, it did sometimes. This phone, because of the nice radio and the fact that it is analog rather than digital, would be great for $50 and maybe, only maybe, acceptable for $100. But for the $240-ish that I paid for it, it's an embarrassing useless turd. If the radio's capabilities are important enough to you, you might want to buy this, but I returned mine. Review number 7. Replaced our EnGenius Duraphone. This was a great move. This phone is so much easier to use and better quality. I don't feel that I've sacrificed any durability with this product. It has a long range for our 4-story property. Used daily. Highly recommended. Review number 8. This works great product. Review number 2. With all of the various electrons that are buzzing around in our house these days, microwave oven, Wi-Fi, electronic weather station, digital portable phones, it becomes hard to find a portable phone that is not bothered by all this interference. This phone is the ticket to clear conversations. Some people say this phone is not to be used with cable phone service. Well, I am using it with my Comcast phone service, and it works great. If you are planning